We are live. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. How was everyone doing tonight?
Pretty good. A lot better than last week.
Yeah.
I can actually hear you. It's nice.
Better than a poke in the eye with a blunt stick.
Not just as
So, what are we here to talk about tonight? I don't even remember.
I don't know either. What was it, Kachin?
Some show.
Yeah.
Some show. We're here to say the finale, the last episode of one of the greatest shows ever made, The Book of Boba.
Quick fun anecdote. I said earlier I was at lunch with my brother and my mom. I was talking to my brother about the show. I'm like, yeah, I hated it. And he's like, yeah, there's more episodes, right? I'm like, because there's only 7 episodes. I'm like, no, that was the finale. He goes, wait, that was the finale? and I'm like, yeah. And like, you watched this was the episode where this happens. He's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, that was the finale. He's like, oh, okay, that's
It's a shame, right?
And for someone who he was asking me constant questions like, oh, so what's the story with the Darksaber? What's the story with Grogu? And who's this Ahsoka chick? And like, he has no idea any of the Clone Wars stuff. And I had to like go into detail. Oh, Maul's alive? Yeah, Maul's alive, and go all this detail. And for him to even be like, Book of Boba was not that good.
So he needed a lot of backstory.
I would explain something, and I have to take another step back, and another step back.
See, that there is kind of like a bit of a critique as far as the show as a whole goes, because my wife had no problem following Mandalorian because need the background.
He asked me who Cad Bane, like, who was that blue guy supposed to be compared to Boba, and I'm like, Cad Bane, and I'm like, and I explained his backstory. Well, that's pretty cool. I'm like, yeah, and he's like. So yeah, because they didn't explain anything. They didn't even really say his name at first. Like for a while there, I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, and then they have his one-off fight, and that's it. So I was like, yeah, and I had to like double back on so much stuff, and I'm like, as I'm explaining this, it all makes sense to me. I was explaining this all. I'm like, wow, they did a really bad job,
right?
Explaining some of these ideas that can easily be resolved with a scene or two or a sentence of dialogue.
And writing the episodes kind of like standalone episodes in a way, right? Because Mandalorian was kind of like that. Each episode had kind of like a subplot.
It was contained in itself, yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, we know who wrote it, so he was going to rely heavily on his favorite stuff, which was the cartoon. But the villain of our last episode, Masters, who appears with me on Twitch, Mr. Girl on Twitch, he that was his biggest complaint, is that whenever I was complaining, he said, I don't understand why you're complaining. And after I spent 20 minutes explaining the backstory of everybody, you know what I mean, involved, he was like, oh my God, that is so annoying that you have to know all of that just to get that 30-second Easter egg. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of the problem.
Our brains are filled with all this.
All right, so I have a little surprise for the member here, and I'm not gonna say who it is because I don't like pointing stuff out, but I did do a little editing, and I took a little back. It's gonna be like, what was that? Wayne's World. It's like doodaloo, 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 in the Wayback Machine, and I might play this throughout the day, throughout the show here, just so anybody who shows up, like maybe Chris, can watch it because I think he'd get a kick out of it. But here's where I'm gonna put this now. We'll watch it and then we'll comment, see what we think. All right, here we go.
No, I honestly, I don't mind what they do with it, as long as they do something, because we've been waiting a long time, and I don't disappoint. I don't disappoint.
Because I will tell you right now, I do disappoint and I do bitch a lot. This might be surprising to hear. And I am not exactly, I am not exactly thrilled about. All right, so just a little, just a quick little video of any
out of context.
Out of context.
You can't comment after the first episode. This is what you said when we were wrapping up, that you don't disappoint and you're just happy you're getting something out of this. Oh, look, it's the villain. He's here. Masters is here. My brain while watching Star Wars buffering. He's here. Oh, there he is.
Look at him. Look at him. Oh.
Yeah.
So you still feel that way? You still just glad they gave you something?
They did give me something, but yeah, I definitely have to. I have to eat my words on that.
Totally. Not how you would have done.
I don't know what else did I say after that. I don't disappoint. What you kind of
that was pretty much all you had to say, because then I was like, I bitch a lot, and then is Chris spending 30 seconds trying to get me to stop so he could elaborate more on me bitching a lot. I think the whole time was like time out. All right, so let's jump into it. The finale of the Boba Fett. First scene we're gonna go up here is they're walking in. I'll just play the video. Oh, by the way, I do not own any of these video clips. This is property of Disney, the overlords, and in all their wisdom, they're allowing me to use that. We do appreciate that, Disney.
Even if we win, there might not be anything left of the city.
There's a lot of credits to be made from that orange powder.
All right. So
he disappeared.
He just disappeared on me. Sorry. Okay, so the first part I want to talk about is the fact that Boba is a crime lord, but he's not a crime lord. But he is a crime lord, but he's not a crime lord. I don't know what the hell he is this entire time. Anyway, so they go in there, it's blown up. She said a lot of money to be made. So the first question I have of that, and then after this to you guys, is how does Boba make his money? Because he doesn't seem to have a large gang population. It's just him and the girl for most of the time. Female.
He probably put pretty good money over the years into his pension plan when he was money.
Yeah, great 401k. Because how is he running a criminal empire that covers and spans a planet, or at least a giant city?
It makes no sense.
I don't know.
Sells,
hey, Chris, did you
hourglasses?
Chris, did you see my remake? Did you see the remix? I wanted you to see it if anybody sees it. If you did see it, are you still here? Give me yes, you're here, and I'm going to show you the video.
He sells egg timers.
So that's not first. And the second problem with that is like, do we ever see do we know for a fact Boba T? Yeah, we got it. We got it the first time. Here we go. Here's the video just for you. Here we go.
No, I honestly don't mind what they do with it, as long as they do something, because we've been waiting a long time, and I don't disappoint. I don't disappoint. Because
I will tell you right now, I do disappoint and I do bitch a lot. This might be surprising to hear. And I am not exactly, I am not exactly thrilled about. That's my favorite part is Chris going, what?
I love it.
Okay, so do we even know for sure that the Hutts the Jabba, do we know for sure that he made his fortune off of spice? Because later on she said this is how he made most of his fortune. I've never seen that talked about necessarily. And also, everybody on the planet apparently wants it gone. Do we see anything? Do we see like crack whores in the street or something begging for more spice, and I'll do what I need to do for $5? Like, where is the ravagings of this spice happening that is so horrible that everyone's like, if you agree to get rid of it, bro, I'll put my life on the line for you. What is it? What's happening? I don't see it.
And that's the funny thing. I was going to say, more people are concerned with the water. Like, they need water than there's drugs going on. Like, people are more likely will whore themselves up for the water than the drugs.
All right. And then the second part of it is, I know that Disney is really big about trying to make women tough, strong, smart, independent. And I'm not making fun of that necessarily. But what they do is they don't know how to write women. It's clear. They don't know how to write for people of color. They just don't know how. And how do you prove it? By the girl who is the head of the Go-Go Gadget Girls. I don't know what they're called.
Oh, don't even bring this scene up. I don't even bring this up.
Okay, so he says, we're going to go back. What is happening? One leaves, one mutes. What am I running this show alone? I don't even know what's happening right now. He says, I'm going to go back to my fort, okay, which makes sense. And I'm going to get all my 4 people that work for me, and we're going to lock down in there, which also, by the way, he has Slave 1, even though we're not supposed to say that. There are 2 Mandalorian ships there. There's a Rancor that will be fighting in closed conditions, all right, and a fort. And he's like, let's go there, and we can mount up there. Also, it would keep all the fighting from happening in the city, which are all the people that he needs to protect won't get hurt. The city won't be damaged. The girl goes, no, I don't think so. We need to stay here and protect the people. And he's like, oh, she's right. She's right. That is the dumbest tactical thing I've ever heard in my life. Why would you do that? Every military in the world takes it away from the people and goes fight in a field somewhere. And she's like, no, stay right here. We'll do it here.
The funny thing is, in that moment, it would only make sense is if the Pikes were targeting the people to lure him out. But they only attacked one person, and it was the bar that was the only people loyal to Boba. Everyone else was neutral at the time, so they just didn't do anything. So obviously they weren't going to hurt the people because that's part of their presumably their customer base. So why would he listen?
I don't know. And here's the other thing. I know it's Disney, but do the Jawas also steal bodies? Because that bar was stripped of any death. There were about 300 people in that bar, and there wasn't one finger. There wasn't one skull. It was clean as the day it was built. Where's all the bodies? Disney's just not good at this.
No.
They're just not good at this.
Disney, they can't show bodies.
So after this is when we get like some Cad Bane kind of stuff. And here's the other thing. First off, I know it's part of plot, so you have to do it. But I'm gonna start calling her Mama Fett or Lady Fett, because she should be the one that should be wearing the armor. When she is describing their plan, first of all, it's the most idiotic plan I've ever heard in my entire life. But she's having to describe in great detail, and of course, Boba's like, sounds good. Keep going, guys. So the plan is to spread out so that way they can't be snuck up on. Hey, guess what would be easier if you went to your palace and locked the door and they had to go across a desert floor in the open? I bet they could sneak up on you then. That's beside the point. And then all of a sudden, Cad Bane just walking down the middle of Main Street.
Literally,
where's the spy network to stop them from sneaking up on him?
Like, he literally walks straight through, and they make a joke of it too. And it's like
overcoat. Wow. He has a strut. He don't go fast. He ain't sneaky. He ain't ninja. He walks down the middle of the street. Boba, out here. Nobody saw him coming. He just snuck up on him. Oh, so angry at the show right now.
Well, it's funny because they have all these enforcers spread out throughout the entire city. One person in each area, because why? And then you could just have them all centered in that one area, spread out each corner, each kind of like entrance to that area.
Yeah.
Opposed to, each district. How are they communicating?
Clearly, they needed an army because, even the Pikes didn't really have an army.
Well, what's crazy is the Pikes. Were they doing one? They were going to attack for one day. They weren't going to leave this planet that they were thinking were going to be big.
We'll get to that at the end. Whenever suddenly it's all good and the sunshine comes out and they're eating apples or whatever those fruits are called.
Yeah, that's
okay.
So
here's the next clip I was going to show you, and if you could please tell me what is the point of this information being shared in any way. How did it shape or change the outcome of the show? Why did it need to happen? Ready? Here we go.
Left evidence behind to encourage such a conclusion. They were charging us protection. We have to protect our margins.
I didn't realize the Pike Syndicate was so ruthless.
Okay, so he tells Boba that, hey, listen, your family's dead, and as they did it. How does that change anything? Did he suddenly go into a crazy fit and do anything? He didn't even kill them himself. Lady Fett killed them herself. She's the one that hung him. And apparently she didn't even know this because she had already left at this point when he gets the information later on. She's the one that goes and assassinates them all.
And so you know what? I thought it was Boba. And then they should
have been. Oh you're right to believe that, sir. Because if you get told that your whole family died and this guy's the problem, and you're like, listen, I got other things to do.
I got a subcontractor here.
Like I just don't understand the point. Like that was like that covered 2 whole episodes. It ends up being, what's the point? I'm sure those criminal leaders who don't care about me or the spice trade would totally stay uninvolved after they refuse to take my side. So yeah, and then as we said earlier, I'll go ahead and play this again. This part, I mean, they were, spread his troops out so that way nobody can sneak up on him. I mean, unless you're a 6'5" cowboy or however tall he's supposed to be. I know he's supposed to be pretty tall, Cad Bane, but
don't toy with me. I'm not a little boy any longer, and you are an old man.
Thank you. Manners. I like it. You're welcome.
It's against the creed. You really buy into that bantha fodder? I do.
All right, so I just want to point out that part that you saw that was a cartoon. I forgot I combined those because Masters asked me what was the deal, and some of their talking doesn't make sense unless you understand that Cad Bane and Boba they have a long history together.
It's so dumb. After that moment when Cad Bane first interacted with him in the street and Boba decided not to fight, we could have had a little flashback for a second to that moment. It would have easily cleared the air for people to understand.
Also interesting too, because he was told by the chick that he is no longer a one. That's also a very good point.
Yeah.
So I was going to show that because that cartoon was an unshot scene. It was a shot scene. They just didn't finish it because they canceled the show. Where they get into a final showdown, he shoots him in the head, and that's the dent that Boba still has. They had this long history. And it doesn't, a lot of the conversation doesn't make sense. Like, I'm not a little boy anymore. What does that mean? Like, what does that mean to me that you're not a little boy? Why did you say this to this Cad Bane character?
Right.
That you're not a little boy anymore. Why does that matter? Oh, it's because he basically raised him after his dad or helped show. I mean, he had like 19 different people that raised him, but still, he was one of them, Cad Bane. And there was one scene that I saw that somebody said where he said, well, isn't that I forgot what he says, but it's the kettle calling the skillet calling the kettle black or whatever the saying is. But they say, isn't that the bank calling the other one sticky? Well, they both said it. So like Boba said it in The Mandalorian to Sasha Banks, one of the other Mandalorian girls.
Yeah.
And then Cad Bane says it to Boba. So they even obviously share the same lingo. But like, holy Jesus, how are you going to know that without
it's so deep cutted that you like. Yeah, because the thing is, like, for Filoni, it all makes sense because it all makes sense. And like for people who are huge fans and like deep fans of like him and what he done, it all makes sense. But to like the general audience goer, like it doesn't work as well.
It's interesting. Yeah. So other parts that we saw was obviously Mando has decided he's going to stick around. He's made a death, bond with him. They're going to go down together. You have the mods who the team mod.
Master's comment there at the end there.
He can't what's up?
Master's comment. You pull it up. It's because Boba forgot to drag the bacta tank with him over to the bar.
Right.
I was gonna say the first couple was flashbacks, just not the flashbacks that would help you make the story make sense later on.
Right.
We did flashbacks of the Sand People who they killed off and had no point to the rest of the damn show. There was no point to them. Like they never showed up again. But
it's so weird that they didn't. The other clans of Tuscans didn't get involved. They didn't march into town. They didn't.
Yeah, I was half expecting it, but
yeah,
that was
Yeah, and I mean, I guess we get that to the end overall how we feel about it because obviously this is a tale of multiple stories. But anyway, so Team Rocket, they can't even help themselves. She has to come and bail them out, so they're going to be a lot of help. The poor pig people, they get thrown off the edge.
What were they watching?
They were watching, I think, the people coming in off ships. Maybe I think
on
that
like
was
trains, But why were they standing on the edge of the cliff in the first?
I don't know. Or why didn't you, if you know you're going to go off the edge anyway, why do you allow yourself to be pushed off the edge? Then fight back.
Walk around.
Or even just rush them. You're going to go off the edge anyway. Why go, whoa, and then you very slowly just fall off the edge? What the hell?
And it's still sad to say that they're the only ones who died. And they even die fighting.
Oh, trust me. All right, so then we have Black Chrysanthemum. He's watching the lizard people. Which would you do that? Honestly, is that a good tactical move? Having him, who's a hothead, watching the lizards people. That's not a good tactical move. So he's watching them. So when it all goes down, these, in case you don't know, the lizard people who also run our government. So I got to be very careful because they run our government. The lizard people. They have been for generations enslaving and hunting Wookiees. They know how to kill a Wookiee, but apparently in this situation they don't own a gun, or do they know how the stabby parts on their sword work? Because instead of stabbing him, they just bring him down slowly, as if they're playing the NFL and you get a foul for bringing down the quarterback too hard. You know that reference, and they just slowly kind of bring him down and bring him. What was that? You got spears. Stick him.
Drowns in Trandoshan.
Yeah, and that scene is so.
Yeah,
it's so slow.
Damn it missed my list.
I forgot about that one.
It's not good. It just was not a good part at all. Listen, our government is becoming. I mean, they're not quite Canada. I thought I would never say that, but I'm not going to put up there what you call lizard people, Joe Biden. So then the fighting breaks out, right? And although he was tackled by a dozen lizard people who have made their living hunting his people, somehow I guess he kills them all single-handedly. He's dragging his leg behind. I actually was like, oh no, they're going to kill this guy off. That's the only moment, me and you talked about this. That's the only moment where I said, oh my God, are they actually going to kill somebody off? Because in my scene, we talked about last week, but Seven Samurai, the Magnificent Seven, all that. The whole point, clearly, of this show was everybody dies, except for Mandalorian. That's the only way this show makes sense. Spoiler alert, if you haven't watched it, nobody dies. So he's dragging him. He's dragging his leg behind. He's still taking shots.
Platoon style.
5 minutes later, he's fine. He's running around, killing people again. He took no shots.
Sprinting.
He took no shots. And then this amazing part, probably the greatest moment in Star Wars history. This is the only thing that saves the show. Now, if I remember, I will try to give everybody credit because I took about 13 different YouTubers and kind of mashed them together. This right here, everybody in the comment section of this watching, thank you guys for coming out. I really do appreciate it. Tell me this isn't the thing that saves the entire series. And I present.
I'll try spinning. That's a good trick.
There you go. Saves the whole series. The spin heard around the world. The greatest moment ever.
I remember when I was watching that, when he did that spin, my head just rocked all the way back. and I looked back forward and I literally said out loud, spinning's a good trick. I'll try spinning.
That is basically like Van Damme Roundhouse.
True.
Right.
True.
There.
True story.
Yeah.
So then they're getting surrounded. The what is his name? The guy, like the mayor's assistant guy.
I
should have died.
He's on my list.
Tacoma Comics knows. He knows that spin move gets you. It'll get you slipping all the bullets.
Oh, okay.
Everybody knows that.
I don't care. Whatever. Like that moment right there. That was the trigger moment for me. In the entire episode, this was the trigger moment. With the mayor's assistant not being shot in the face immediately by the pipe. When he gave them the demand, it was like nothing. And then they're like staring and they raised their guns up to him, and then both of them came out. I thought he was done. I'm like, oh, thank God they kill him, right? They use him that's the thing. They hold him off as a joke the whole time, and they keep him there, and they use him as like a death joke, right? But no, he didn't even die. And it made me so mad. And then to see his face again. And oh God! Okay, when we get to that part, I'll mention it. What angered me so much seeing this. I don't even want to see that actor ever again in my life.
Okay, can I just ask a question? What was the reason for keeping him alive to the point that he was? Like he was lied, he cheated, he stole.
Comic relief, I guess, but like
he did
really bad.
And he just would not be shot by Boba, the new Boba, at least the friendlier, softer Boba. So anyway, I guess the whole point of this was he reads off the little tablet. It gives you nothing. By the way, bad writing all the way around. And I guess they were trying to do, I guess if you wanted to be positive, you can say they were doing a lot of callbacks to other movies. But is it lazy writing when you just basically steal from other movies? Like My Offer to You Is Nothing, which is from The Godfather. And you could go down almost scene by scene. Almost every scene is stolen from another movie. It's pretty ridiculous, actually. But anyways, so the whole point is nothing. I guess it's to buy time for the scene. Here we go, boys. You got 2 Mandalorians flying in, and they're ready to rock. And then they land on the ground, and they fight on the ground. What was the point of that? What was the point of flying around and flying on the ground?
Don't you know gas prices are pretty high nowadays?
Gas prices are high. That is true.
Right.
They forgot the refuel on their way over.
That's why Cad Bane left his at home.
Yeah, Cad Bane could
did leave his at home. Yes, I agree with how smart assy he was being. That it would have been a badass for them to shoot him directly in the forehead. But this is Disney, and we don't have anybody being shot in Disney.
Well, it's funny because you had a guy get cut in half and his head slowly severed and put into a bag and just carried around.
It's different. So yeah. So they land. I don't know why, because I like when they fight in the air. It was really cool. They did it in Mandalorian. It was awesome. But they decided to land, I guess so that way you can see his cool niche guns. You know, the cool part about that, there's a guy who watches these things on like slow down speed, and you can watch it slow down speed. You can actually see those things aim on his knees. Those guns, they actually move on slow. That is pretty cool. Wow. You can't see it in real life, so I don't know what the point of that is.
What is that? Taking a week to watch an episode?
Apparently, I don't know. So here's the other problem. You have 2 Mandalorians. They don't go up on. Did we not learn anything from Kenobi? He's back there. He'll tell you. You get the high ground, baby. That's Star Wars 101 right there. They had all those roofs. No, they land on the ground. They could have stayed flagged up on the ground. They go. And they stand in the middle of the street. So this should be the moment you're like, holy crap, we're going to lose one of the heroes. Except for 45 shots later, I was telling you, there's not a dent. There's not a burn mark. There's not a blister. There's nothing on this magical armor. Also, despite the fact that Boba's just chest and a little bit of arm, it protects him from head to toe. Like they can't make a shot even accidentally. And the soft spots of the armor, it just protects. It's always like bling, oh, right there, bling, I got him right there. Nobody makes a shot on them. When they do, it's directly in the armor, which I think is amazing.
It's all Beskar.
What did you think about the fact that you can just stand in the middle of the street with Beskar armor and you cannot be hurt no matter how many people shoot you?
They got. Go get you. Go.
I was just like, even his balaclava must be Beskar.
Everything must be.
His salt.
They got them. They paid the extra money for the microtransaction to get the.
I thought that the mithril, was that what you said?
I was saying mithril. It was going to 100% be mithril, like Lord of the Rings chainmail armor.
Yeah, I thought the Lord of the Rings chainmail was silly too. But here's the thing now, Chris. We do know now that it protects you from head to toe. Because when you're wearing it, it is magnetized, and every shot hits you directly in your armor. So you don't have to wear the rest of that stuff.
Naked.
Here's the problem with that is, the problem is that there was no way they were going to be hurt because they showed you that no matter how many times they got shot, it would have been fine for one of them to take a shot in a spot that they didn't have armor, right? And they could have got shot in the arm and were like, oh, and blood could have shot. And then you think, oh my gosh, they actually might kill them. But they didn't. They just like bling, 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 bling. So there was no concern for our heroes. It was just, they'll be fine.
Yeah.
I thought it was Frodo's shirt. Would have been a little big.
It's funny if you listen, Mando calls it, oh, you have your shirt on. It's like a t-shirt or something.
You got your band tee, right? You got your band tee. I didn't even remember that. That's funny.
This is also true. This is we'll talk about that towards the
end.
Well,
that actually makes me more mad than anything when we get to that. that was the other moment where I was like, my brain had slipped a little out on my ears and I had to smack it back in.
So then we have a moment where the spider droids come out, and unfortunately, that was my fault. That was really stupid. I actually forgot to get a spider droid shot, which is really dumb because those are actually pretty cool.
I mean, they didn't get any shots either.
Yeah, they didn't either. And we talked about this separately. We thought it was funny. you could pretty much watch the video again, and they never made a shot unless they were 6 inches away from the Rancor.
They hit the spider droids. Hit not a single person, not a civilian, not a droid, not a person, not a Wookiee. The only time they hit someone was the Rancor at this much distance, and they happened to hit the Rancor in the only spot where it had like some sheet, like scrap sheet metal in Jabba's basement. And they attached to his chest. That was the only spot they hit, not the face, which is like even bigger than the arms.
Wait, so just to be clear, you're calling them spider droids, but they called them scorpion droids.
Yeah, sorry.
I said that. I meant to say scorpion droids.
But they're actually destroyers, right? That's the real name.
What's funny is apparently everyone forgot or doesn't know how those shields work, including people who would have known those shields, like Boba or Mando.
Should have known them. Yeah,
they do mention that the velocity round is the only way to get in there, but like you can.
We also learned on, I think it was Clone Wars with what's the terrorist leader that was in all the shows? Forrest Whitaker, I think, played him in the movie.
Oh yes.
That you can just very slowly roll a grenade underneath those shields.
Well, I was going to say that you can, like, if I remember correctly, that was when you can roll a grenade slowly under it. And if I wasn't mistaken, you can just walk into those shields. You can
that's how the Jedi would do it. They would just walk into it.
You would walk right in there slowly, and then you would ignite your lightsaber on the inside and go.
I was yelling that at the TV.
I swear to God, yeah.
Put a grenade in there. What are you doing?
Because, like, I swear to God, I remember that. You could just walk through those shields. That's the big thing. Obviously, they keep you from a distance, but if you can get close enough and behind them.
Just really quick, I just want to. I said I was going to do this throughout the show. As he's saying, he's clearly a little bit disappointed.
No, I honestly, I don't mind what they do with it, as long as they do something. Because we've been waiting a long time, and I don't disappoint. I don't disappoint.
All right, there you go. I just want to point that out one more time. We're gonna keep going back to that. He does not disappoint, and he was making me look like a big jerk. That I was like, I hate it all. And he was like, no, they just give us good stuff. We gotta love it. But I understand what you're saying, that the scorpion droids didn't hit anything. But see, what you're missing is, although they're computers, and they have a computer brain to track and target things well, how can they hit the humans when they were scurrying left and right, zigzag patterns, going in between buildings, going out?
Sorry.
They just walked down the middle of the damn street and they didn't get hit once.
I forgot. They're not scorpion, they're crocodile. You go zigzag.
Dennis Turan is here. Sir.
Well, Dennis, we can backpedal and talk about the Power Rangers if you'd like in this episode.
Oh, we'll get to them. Don't worry.
So not only did they not hit the Rancor, who's as big as a building, and by the way, depending on what part of the episode, he seemed to be bigger or smaller, depending on when he needed. When he decided to be King Kong, he was about 5 stories.
Oh,
tall.
you got the King Kong reference. Yeah.
Well, did you get the Godzilla reference immediately too?
Yes, he also had a Godzilla reference. This is why this is yes, all these are true, and this is also with the spin move. He's got it. See?
Was he spinning down the street the whole time?
They were just spinning down the street. That would have been amazing. All right, so they kind of split off at that point. One goes one way. You take them that way. Everybody else goes another way. They're fighting.
By the way, if one thing to mention is Fennec is not present for any of this fighting.
None of it.
Because she immediately left after she saved the mods from dying, who got cornered in an alleyway where only one person got shot and presumably killed. But it was like a no-name person we'd never seen before. Anyways, she saved them and then she disappeared to go, presumably go kill the
disappeared.
She disappeared during all the fighting because obviously she was
Where
there.
Was your best weapon?
She was there.
The biggest badass you had is just disappeared. She's just gone. She just left. Okay, so I'm not sure when this happens, but let's go ahead and drop this here. Then the fun part. Let's get this. This is for all the times we want to sell some.
Hide that. Get rid of that. Hello, officer. Hi, officer. I filed for my new Republic certification seal just as you were landing. They teach you how to fly an X-Wing already. I know an astromech flew the ship. Let me say hello to my old pal. Well, hello, Bright Eyes.
I know people don't like her. I think she thought she was pretty funny for what she was. I actually thought she was okay.
During the fight, I was annoyed, but
Yeah.
I like her. It just, why was she in the middle of the fight?
I like this one. A thinly veiled, very subtle King Kong reference. It was like it wasn't shot for shot reconstruction or anything. I love how the Pikes turned into new gunnery. Yeah. Okay, so here's another question. What do you think? This is legitimate. I'm not bitching about this. Why other than Luke wouldn't have made sense to be there for plot reasons because he would have just force choked the whole planet. Why didn't Luke fly the plane? Like I don't understand.
I laughed so hard at that when I'm like the X-wing showed up. Like there's no way Luke is going to be present for this. He shows up, he's going to be present for this fight and just pisses off, or like he's going to help them. And when they open up, and I'm like, oh, R2 fluid, okay.
Yeah. Which is, that has happened several times. It's not out of the question that astromechs fly.
Yeah,
but
it's just
other than plot point, why didn't he fly it? Like, why did he just say, "Oh, you don't want to be on my squad? Fucking beat it. I'm not even going to take you back home."
He had to supervise. He had to supervise his droids.
He paid for building, and he didn't want to.
I just don't. Yeah. I mean, I understand it's for plot, but it kind of makes Luke look like an asshole a little bit.
Luke probably forgot. He's like, "Oh crap! I forgot I needed mortar for these houses. I need to go mix some. I need to go mix some concrete up."
Isn't he like 50-something years old? He might be 80 years old. I thought he was like 50-something years old. Cad Bane is 75, by the way. I looked it up on this episode.
He was 75. Okay.
Yeah, 75.
Wait, so when does this take place? I thought it was 9 EBY.
I don't know, but they just said at the time he was like 72, 75, something. He was 70-something.
Oh man.
He was older. So she feeds him worms, and we got to get her funny, cute, and all the chaos that's happening. We got to get her funny, cute moment that would be Baby Yoda
again.
And then so anyway, I said that there because later on you see them come in. They're in the again another throwback.
Rickshaw.
They're in the rickshaw being pulled by the thing, and I actually think I have that, but I will save that for a second. Yeah. So the other thing I would say is all of these people who have mods, they hid behind a wall, and they shot repeatedly into a, I mean, did you guys not think this was super annoying? They shot repeatedly into a force shield, or shield, I mean, that never seemed to care they're being shot at, and they just kept shooting. It was like 45 seconds.
Kept
of them
shooting.
Repeatedly shooting into the shield. I didn't understand what they were doing.
Insanity.
Annoyed the crap out of me.
It's so funny because you think the mods would have had some other augmentations other than extendo feet, a little finger later, a big eye. They had, they have something else like, offensive maybe.
The definition of insanity, isn't that?
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna keep that going, yeah, but it's just the whole thing bothers me. The way he handled Grogu, the way Ahsoka handled the situation, in that you're basically just telling me that nobody is learning their lessons. Nobody is. We're just gonna pretend like nothing happened. We're gonna keep doing the same old thing. It just, gosh, I was just hoping for better from Luke and some of these other people. They should have learned some lessons.
The thing is, it doesn't make the Kylo thing work even more because Luke is really young here compared to when he taught Kylo. So 20 years passed, right? So tell me how this big mistake with his first student, the only other green guy he's ever seen in his life, and he says no to him. So literally, how has he not learned from that and then take that?
He should have learned. He should have learned from it, but it is what it is.
Well, he realized if I can't have my student, I'm just gonna kill. I'm just gonna kill him.
So this is when we're gonna have the moment, which I think I have it, but I guess I'll show. No, I won't show it. So we had the moment. Well, Boba jumps on the Rancor and rides it. I said there was no way it wasn't gonna be corny. They did the best they could with him riding it. It was gonna be corny, but it also to me is like, wow, there was nothing to that. It was just he mentioned it in passing, and then a few weeks later, I assume he's riding the bitch like he's been on a horse his whole life. He's just
He drove it better than his own ship.
Yeah, he did. And so like I thought it was gonna be outrageously just cringy, and it actually wasn't for what I mean. It was, but for what it was, I actually thought they did that part. They actually did pretty well. I like the fact I'm going over some likes here, okay? Because I'm not gonna be all negative. I like when he said "do it." He did the whole like ripped thing, and it was just like Anakin whenever he was told to do it, and he kind of duked him. It was basically like same thing, shot for shot. I'm actually concerned. I know there's like Chris is in the chat, and we got Bake the Snake, and I think I saw my boy here, Jeffrey. Jeffrey's in here, and that there's a chance for us to get kicked off YouTube real fast in a hurry with some of these characters that are in here right now. What is this here? Let's go. And Luke tried to make him choose between the sniper stripper. Okay, there's Chris there. That's him.
But no, Luke's saying, no, you can't have that. I lied.
Loved all the scenes of him bonding, learning to ride. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of my point. Like, it could have been 10 seconds of him doing that, like just showing that he was like bonding with it. Ever so often show him down there, even petting it on his head. That would have been enough. Like, but no, we just pretend like
he fed him through a cage door, and that was it.
Something. Anything would have worked. Okay, is there any other parts of the fight scene that you guys can think of before like the Cad Bane thing?
No, I was just going to mention what you already did with them. They kept shooting it.
Oh, no, sorry. There was a big moment where I got really fucking pissed. The reinforcements arriving.
Oh, yes.
12 people against a whole syndicate was their reinforcements. And they pull up, and the first thing they say is the Weequay, his best friend to Cobb Vanth, says he killed him in cold blood. So the whole town basically, the fighting force leaves to go there, leaving Cobb Vanth dead, presumably back at base. And then they go there to fight with 12 people who, like, none of them also died. That's a good thing, too. Not a single one of them died, I believe.
I did watch a video where they said why the final scene was bad. I watched a little bit of that. There was I think it was a black guy with an afro. He died 4 times, but at the end of the show, he was still walking around, but they showed him going, but then a few scenes later, he was back walking again. And there was a white guy with a jacket, and he was shot. I think the guy counted like 7 times he was shot, to seeming like a back blown out shot, and he was back up and fighting again. So
they reanimated his corpse.
We decided to go a little bit cheap on the background extras. We decided not to. We just kept reusing them.
When the corpse of the guy died, they stick one of the gaffy sticks up his rear and stand him up and use him as a target every time.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Always Sunny when they're extras and Dee's supposed to be dead, but she just has to get up or start making noises, and yeah, it's funny.
So I guess at this point, everyone's fine, no one's dying, and then they've taken out one of the they took out both the Scorpions at this point. It was pretty cool though. I did like how the Rancor put his thumb through his eye. That was kind of a little cool spot.
Yeah.
And then the Rancor, he sees because he's about 5 stories at some point. I can't tell exactly how many because he kind of grows and gets bigger and shorter. Let's say 3 stories. He's 3 stories tall. And a little bitty blue guy with a flame that shoots out about this far made him buck his rider and take off running because that flame scared him so bad.
That very strong connection between the rider and
there you go. So he takes off mad. So he's running through the streets, trying to kill his friends, trying to kill the civilians, knocking down everything. So what I thought was cool is how Boba immediately got on his jetpack and flew back over to the Rancor, landed on top of him, calmed him down because they have a bond. No, he just ignored him. We basically never saw it again. Like they never were around each other again. I don't understand that. I was like, oh, why isn't he going back and getting him under control? When the horse bucks you, you got to go chase the horse to get back on him. That's the whole thing. Nah, he just lets him.
But
it's because plots. What's going to happen later? We got to have that plot in there. Doesn't matter if it makes sense. So I was told. Now I didn't look at this. I didn't confirm this. So this is unconfirmable. I was told that you don't see the gaffy stick, and you just saw the clips I just showed. There is no gaffy stick. Right before he goes to fight Cad Bane, the gaffy stick appears on his back. like out of nowhere. He just pulled it out of his ass. I'm not sure where he pulled it out of from, but he didn't have it. Then he does.
He's
so
stuck
Cad
in the
Bane,
Rancor's ass.
Yeah. So they have a little conversation. Cad Bane once again beats him. I hate to say this because I know that's your boy, but has he won a fight in this entire series? Because he doesn't seem to win very much, Boba. He loses the fight again. He goes over him and he reminds him once again that his people died for nothing. And you know what, though? I will say I kind of felt like, did you guys get the feeling that like he wasn't just talking trash to get him fired up? I almost felt like, because he did say this is my last lesson. I almost felt like he was doing it on purpose to get him to remember that he's a killer.
Gassing him. Yeah.
Yeah, like you're a killer. Get your ass up and fight. And I kind of feel like that's what he was doing, more so than he was just mad at him. He was like, dude, this is pathetic. Your dad would be ashamed, because his dad would be ashamed.
I love that moment. Your dad would think you were.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hold on. He wakes up and it was all a dream. This is what some people are hoping for. So somehow that wakes him up. He's able to spin with the gravity stick. And now the one thing I will confirm about Cad Bane, which I hate to say this because he's one of my favorites, as we know, he's running co-pilot here most days. Is that he sucks at hand-to-hand combat, because Lady Fett whipped his ass in Bad Batch hand-to-hand fights, and here he can't fight a gaffy stick either, because he gets taken out pretty easily.
Oh, Obi-Wan hand-to-hand with Quinlan.
Well, that was more he had his flying boots on then. So you see what I'm saying? That's different. You don't have your flying.
He also was like a million years younger.
Yeah.
When Boba knocked him in the ankle, he probably broke his hip in that moment.
At this point, I think everybody. Thank you, Fish Cloud Collectibles. I think everybody would take Mando over Boba in a fight. So he stabs him through it. Now, of course, you did see the dot happening.
His heart.
And he has a little mini robot that pulled him out of a lot of crap. And so I don't know where that robot was. Maybe he's not even going to be ever spoken of. And maybe Cad Bane will never be spoken of.
Maybe Seth Green will just show up in like a little cardboard box, just run up and take him on Dragon War.
He's absorbed him, and he's part of his outfit now.
Because right now, basically, we had Cad Bane coming just to die. That was basically his whole point. Like he didn't prolong the story. That we didn't find out more about Boba. We didn't find out any history they had. He did nothing to the story but be a kind of a spooky character that dies.
Do you think it would have been better if Cad had shown up? See how that moment where Chrysanthemum showed up in episode 2. If he showed up that early, it would have had and they could have had flashback with that scene.
Yeah, and then we could have had a few moments. Like literally, it would have just took one flashback to explain their history. Do you know what I mean? Like just one. That's all that would have took. But it is what it is.
Doesn't that help him breathe though? Like
they
everything. So maybe he's not dead.
It does, and that there was a noise he made, and it kind of sounded like he does in thing, but
because maybe it pierced one of his lungs. The machine probably helped keep him alive.
Listen, Tran, you be very easy, sir. Those YouTube gods don't like us making fun of mask mandates. You be very careful with your jokes.
The only thing
I think Boba's stick is like Mjolnir. It just came out of.
Oh yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that.
Flew.
We should have known that.
They had the magnetic on like the cap shield, the magnetic parts where you clench. Yeah, you had that.
Yep.
So the Rancor's losing his mind. I know this is going to be this. I guarantee you, I can tell you right now what Hosier's favorite spot is. Right?
No, you're not going to go.
Here it is. Here's his favorite spot. I know he loved this spot. I bet he rewound it twice. Here comes the robot chick. She's coming around the corner and she's like, "Hey, nice head tails." She's like, "Come with me, pretty face." And he's like, "Nah." And they get up and they run off. Was that your favorite part?
No, it was with them. Yes, it was a moment later where the Rancor is just staring at them, yelling, and it zooms in on their faces as they're screaming. She's screaming like like scared. He is screaming. He's smiling. He's smiling the whole time, like laughing. Like it was like that was the best take they can get of him, where he wasn't laughing, and it pisses me off. Just him smiling there, like. God, the Rancor should have just picked up, ate him. They should have ate him.
Yes, I agree. I get really irritated with Star Wars. I hate Star Wars, but I would rather have a reason to be irritated than not have any Star Wars. So I do agree with you.
Yeah.
At least it's something. However,
but it is possible to be disappointed. I've
here,
learned that.
So he doesn't get disappointed, people. So the Rancor is running around. We have his handler somewhere back at the base. We have the guy that has a deep connection with him. He has the ability to fly. No. Here's where the plot armor shows up, and now we find out what it was all about.
What are you doing here? Oh, okay, little guy. I'm happy to see you too.
And there you go, right there. That's why the whole thing was for, so we could have the moment where he puts him to sleep. Although I will say, I did think it was a cool spot.
I'm not against it because we saw him do it before with.
He did it with the rhino.
Rhino, and he probably has an affinity with animals because
and then Ezra also had that ability. I mean, I cannot judge them having little baby Yoda put a Rancor to sleep when I actually like Rebels, and there were freaking space cows roaming space that Ezra talked to. Okay, so I can't complain about one and then ignore the other one having space cows. So
maybe Crocodile Dundee was a Jedi. He can do that.
So that's basically the end of it. That was the end of the fight. It was such an important planet that two different crime syndicates came there. They're ready to fight over it. But now they fought one time, one afternoon, about 15 people dead, and they'll never come back again. Because we see it a couple of days later, we're assuming they're walking through the streets and everybody's giving Boba bows. Not sure why. Because he didn't kill the leaders. What did he do? But they're bowing. Somebody runs up and gives him one of those fruits that you see on Rebels a lot. I can't remember the name of that fruit. Do you remember the name of that fruit? I don't remember the name of it.
No.
And they throw it over. Everybody's alive. Nobody died, and they have a moment.
Oh, that also. I was screaming. I was screaming at that too.
The Wookiee eats his apple, and we're all happily ever after.
I thought that was for me, and the camera's panning. And I was looking. I'm like, I swear to God, when they pan up, it better be the Pikes in orbital space. Orbital bomb the planet. Now I'm better pan.
And then just in case you couldn't think you can get enough, we're gonna have to, which was one of the kind of cringy things for me, was clearly that ship was designed with Grogu in mind. It was horrible the fact they did it like that. It's clearly Hope's for.
Get no seatbelt.
And he's in the back and he's banging on the thing and he wants him to hit the power button, which was funny, but he gets to hit the turbo boost. He dropped about 4 pounds of nos down the throat there, and they shot off. And then we get the last part after the credit scenes, the famous after credit scenes.
What Chris just
we got Thundercat from. That's his name. That's his working stage name because he is in the music industry. He's ready to present surgery.
Okay.
Now, can I ask a question?
No.
Yes, but we're asking the question. Our man was shot in the shoulder right here. Why do you call in? First of all, why isn't he being the back to tank? That's my first question. Second question, why do you got to call in the guy who replaces body parts for a shoulder that's right here? We can do that now in this world. We don't need to call in cyborg doctor.
I want to know what the timeline is because it makes no sense at all.
They dropped him off there before they went.
Yes, I agree.
It makes no sense.
This was totally a G.I. Joe episode. He's 100%. Everybody, the ship explodes and you see the parachutes come out. This was 100% G.I. Joe episode. Here we go. That's the question. Isn't how long they take to get the dead body in the tank? First off, is how did he die from a shoulder shot? Like it's way up here. It's not even like in the chest area. Oh, by the way, the other thing I forgot to say is I know Cad Bane's the man, and maybe he's got special guns. But when he shot Boba in the chest, Boba fell down and was hurt, even though nobody else could actually get through the armor. But yeah, it is what it is. What are you walking around for? What are you upset about?
Because I'm so annoyed. Play the clip.
What do you got something you want to talk about on this scene?
Play the clip because I'm so annoyed.
Oh, I don't have the clip. I didn't make a clip.
Oh, he didn't. Okay. Tell me. So he gets shot on the shoulder. Okay. Obviously, in that moment, when they get shot, they go to show him get shot on the shoulder once, and then the deputy gets railed against the wall and dies. Okay.
Easy. But that's a different show. The deputy not get railed against the wall, sir. That's a totally different TV show.
That happens. Okay. Then this episode happens the finale. The whole group shows up. 12 people show up in the middle of the fight. Day after, 2 days. Who knows? 2 days later, right? And then that happens. They show up. The Weequay says, he goes killed in cold blood. He's not there with them. And all the fighting people showed up there, okay? So him telling Boba that means they kill it. And then the end of the episode comes, and they go, my back tank's being used. And then he's in the back to tank with the DJ dude there, modder, helping him out. Okay, when did they bring him there? Because they didn't bring him during, when they're on the way to the fight, because he wouldn't tell him he's dead to use him in his back to tank. He wouldn't say that. He would be like, he critically injured. We dropped him in your back to tank.
Right.
He would have said that. He wouldn't have said they killed him.
Right.
So if he died,
absolutely, yeah,
and they waited to the end of the fight to bring the back to tank, then he definitely died. He wouldn't be alive.
He just lied because he didn't want to tell him that he was using his back to tank.
You didn't want to pay those energy costs, that day rate.
Yes, I am very upset, but I'm kind of, the reason why I'm not going absolutely apeshit, because Cad Bane is one of my favorite ones, is one, I expected he was going to die, one, and then two, because I'm not sure he's 100% dead.
It would be fitting for him to die there, and that you can't see where his story would continue after, when he's already an elderly man at that point. And
he's pretty old, yeah.
And the last time we're supposed to see him was him dying to Boba in Clone Wars. So it's a fitting end for him. Obviously, it opens up the idea to see him in other projects, considering we have the costume and makeup. You can see him in a Kenobi thing or something.
What can you guys tell me, other than maybe the shot was so amazing that it severed his arm? But then again, if it severed his arm, wouldn't he have bled out in the desert? What do they need the RoboDoc for? I don't understand. Like, what body part are they replacing that they need the RoboDoc?
So stupid. So stupid.
Why do they need Van?
Why do they need
to come back?
I don't. No sense.
All right. So maybe the chat can help us too. You got a 1 out of 10. You gotta throw it down. Ka-chung, 1 out of 10. What do you rank this final episode?
Final episode? Probably 7 because of Cad. Otherwise, I probably would have given it a 6.
Canadian?
3.
3. Wow.
Every scene with Cad Bane was great. I thought I really enjoyed those scenes. While them coming out in the jetpacks and fighting, not really hit, was like they should have got hit a couple times. I thought the choreography was better there, and the cinematography was good. But then there was and the other part I liked was,
I don't know why I even put that up there.
Yeah, actually there wasn't anything else I liked. So yeah, that's 3.
Here's my thing. I would have started off giving it probably like a 6 to 7 when I first watched it, because that's basically what I expected. I expected that show because it's Disney. They don't want to kill anybody off because you never know who they might do later. But the more I watched, as you saw my bitch fest in this, the more I watched it, the more things didn't make sense. And I'm actually a little bit upset by it, because the people who were in charge of this, who were writing for it, I'm hoping for them to help make my franchise better. And the writing, at least in that last episode. Now, of course, the director has been horrible this entire time. He's not been a great director, but it just didn't make sense from beginning to end. Like, none of it made sense. I don't know what story he was trying to tell with this final episode. I don't know what the point was. Almost everybody's appearance didn't need to happen or didn't make sense. Oh, and then the final thing that we forgot to talk about is Lady Fett. She's the one that kills everybody at the end. Apparently they decide, even though they're in this big fight and they have 2 Mandalorians, a trained assassin, a Wookiee, and a bunch of people who are modded, they decide to hide in the most obvious place. They don't know. They apparently have an opening in the top, so that anybody can just jump on the roof and shoot.
And 2 guards with spears.
Yeah, 2 guards. So she goes ahead and kills them all at the end, and they're all dead. I forgot to say that part. So after all that, I'd probably go back down to like a 4 or a 5, just because it just didn't make sense. A lot of the ending didn't make sense to me. This. Yeah, I would say I'm pretty close to what Masters is saying here. 7 fresh, 5 after thinking about it. And
that scene though,
I can't be mad at you for liking because it's Star Wars. I can't be mad at you.
Like there's obviously this points,
but you know, we do need to start expecting a little bit better out of our fandom, because it's gonna keep happening. If we keep loving everything they give us, we're gonna keep getting Boba Fett.
When Fennec goes in and assassinates, man, I was like, because you didn't know who it was.
You thought it was Boba, didn't you? You got excited. You got excited, didn't you?
I was like,
it was Boba. It was Lady.
He's back. Yes, the real Boba, and then it was freaking her. And
So,
I loved
you know
it.
what?
Loved that it was happening, but the fact that it was her and not him.
And I respect the fact they sent the assassin to go do it. It makes sense. But tactically, does it though? Because she's, other than Mando, she's your biggest badass. Like, she's been a badass the entire time.
Yeah, she's been carrying them.
You sent her off to disappear for half the episode. I thought that was weird to me, because I really enjoy her character and I could have seen more of that, but it is what it is. Now, I guess we can do a quick overview. Well, is that what you guys want to do?
I mean, we're already at the hour. I guess we can definitely go over our favorite moment in the show and like a general score for the whole series.
Okay, so I would say my overall take of the show would be, I think that they started doing Boba Fett. They had a problem, because I don't think when they wrote Mandalorian, I don't think they ever expected to do the Boba Fett series. Because to me, the Mandalore series is the way they wanted Boba's story to go. But once it was already there, it was really hard to write a Boba Fett story, because when you watch it, I feel like they were kind of showing what they had. And by halfway through, somebody up the top, high up, said, "Holy crap, this is a dog plate full of crap that's happening," because the worst episodes are the first 3, right? And they said, we got to pivot off this, because the things that happen in the first 3 or 4 episodes, they don't make sense for the rest of the series. They don't show back up again. His relationship with the Sand People doesn't matter. There's no point to even show that, other than, I guess, long term now he wants a tribe of his own. But other than that, it doesn't make sense. All the stuff that happens in those first 3 episodes.
To be clones of himself.
What?
His tribe should just be clones of himself.
So it doesn't make sense to me. So I feel like halfway through they pivoted and they tried to save the series, because like I said, it just doesn't make sense. The first part of the series and the last part of the series don't make sense. It's hard for me to say put them in order, what's good to bad, because there's one really bad, and that's episode 3. That's absolute train wreck terrible. And it's because of, Team Rocket shows up. That's bad. And then, I mean, it's to me, it's a toss up. 1, 2, 3, 4. And unfortunately, I know that Kachung doesn't like this. The only episodes that were really good were 5 and 6, and that was Mandalorian season 3, episode 1 and 2. Like, those are the best episodes of the entire series to me. So I guess great moments was I actually did enjoy learning more about the Tusken people. I thought that was really cool, finding out more about them, although it didn't matter because they didn't make no difference in the story. I thought that was pretty cool. Seeing Boba again was cool. Like, I don't like that he was not him, but that was kind of neat. I think that's going to be a cool character. The what's his name? Black
Chris Hampton.
I think to me, he's the only character to me that they showed new that is memorable. Like, right? Like, his design is cool.
Yeah.
You kind of know that he has a backstory. They told you he was in the fighting pits. You know what I mean? So to me, he's the only character that came out of this that was new, that we never knew before, that has like a cool moment. Like, I actually think he's a cool character.
Yeah, he's not just Chewbacca painted black.
Yeah, well, that's a toy. You're gonna pay $30 for that toy. Other than that, that's probably my positives. Because the other positives would come from, I'm gonna call it Mandalore season 3, episode 1, because that what is that 5 is awesome
5.
from beginning to end. I love that, but that's not Boba Fett. That's Mandalorian season 3. So what do you think, Kachung?
No, I mean, I did like episode 4, getting his ship back. I mean, that was important, and telling the story of him getting out of the Sarlacc pit. I mean,
oh yeah, that's pretty good too.
That's kind of what everyone was wanting, right? It's what everyone was after, but it's basically an episode worth of material. Him becoming a warlord of the planet. I mean, I don't know about that. He didn't really seem to be a warlord in the end.
So did you feel like you enjoyed it overall?
Overall, I mean, it is what it is.
Were you disappointed?
No, yeah, hold on.
No, I mean, I honestly, I don't mind what they do with it, as long as they do something, because we've been waiting a long time, and I don't disappoint. I don't disappoint. I don't disappoint. I don't disappoint.
Because I would say right now, I do disappoint and I do bitch a lot. Yeah, we don't hear the rest of that.
Hey, I can say this: we got something.
Yeah,
we did. Yeah.
Yep. I did like. Honestly, I like the Luke and Grogu montage. I think that was kind of neat.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I like about it? Not to interrupt you. You know what I like about it though? It makes me excited for the future because I think they did a pretty good job. Like I think they had attention to detail. They didn't give them a lot to say. They, you know what I mean? And I think if we're gonna do stuff like that, the technology is there where it's not. I mean, 20 years from now, it might look horrendous, but like for now, it wasn't something that I was jarred. I was like, oh, what is that? Like it looked pretty good.
The only thing I still think is they definitely need to have Mark Hamill just do the voice opposed to doing the synthesizer.
Yeah, that was shocking when you revealed that.
Yeah, I mean they could at least just de-age the voice. But yeah.
All right, what about you? Oh, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Overall,
all right, Canadian, you're up.
I'd say it was definitely a lost potential throughout most of the show. I think they could have, there was, especially how earlier on, a lot of the, I think all the flashback stuff was great in the first 4 episodes when we had all the flashbacks. Those were all great. That could have been its own 2 episodes or a movie right there in itself. I thought it was great. And then all the stuff in the modern day, what was good and what was interesting and set up just failed to deliver near the end of it. So, I mean, going back, all those really cool moments in the modern day don't really live up anymore. And obviously, if you discount episode 5 and 6, because episode 5 and most of 6, because those aren't basically Book of Boba Fett episodes. The only parts are the ending and beginning of 6 with Cobb Vanth and Cad Bane. I don't know. The show, it's like a 5 to me, honestly. It's a middle of the road. It's tough to say. And that's mostly because of those 2 episodes really carry the show after it. But I
ask a question though. Can you go over really quick what you told me about minutes?
Oh yeah, so I'll say that. Okay, before I get I'll say this quickly. My favorite moments before I go over this really interesting fact. Essentially, I really love the scene with when the gaffy stick was being made, and then leading into the ending where they're dancing in the desert in episode 2. I really love that moment. I was captivated the whole time. I rewatched it multiple times. I love the moment when Boba gets a ship back and then blasts through with the speeders. Obviously all of episode 5 was terrific. I love the scenes with Luke and Grogu when they're walking through the forest and telling them about Yoda and then Order 66. Those were all great. There was a lot of great moments there. But it's hard to say overall how it was. But a fun fact I found out through a YouTuber I watch is he broke it down into 3 parts here, is that the run times. So as we know, because these episodes, first 4 were compromised of flashbacks and modern day stuff, and then later on we got stuff that wasn't even Boba. So as a reference here, this doesn't count the last episode, because last episode's like a mix of everything going on. So episodes 1 through 6, there were 66 minutes worth of modern day like Boba Fett stuff. So either Boba Fett's Crime Empire, the Cobb Vanth stuff, everything going on there. That's all 66 minutes worth. The flashbacks were 92 minutes worth of runtime. So that was for episodes 1 through 4, all the flashbacks we saw. The stuff with Mandalorian in episode 5 and 6, the story details there compromised 60 minutes. So the modern day stuff with Boba and his development to his criminal empire was only 6 minutes longer than Mandalorian got for the entirety of his showing up. Not counting the finale, because the finale has Mando there with Grogu, with Boba.
Finale's a push because they're about to save him out, so it still works.
Yeah.
It's still a push.
So seeing them on par there makes you think: is this really Boba's show, or is this just setup? And then also at the same time you think about it, where is this basically the reason why they implemented all that? Is that you have to watch this? It's required viewing before Mandalorian season 3. because you have like important details. But nevertheless, I thought it was 5.
Because how are they, unless they do kind of like a review, how are they going to just start Mandalorian season 3 with Grogu in a weird ship riding back going yee as they're like flying through the space? Like, how are they going to tell that without you knowing what happened in the last thing?
It'd be so funny. They'll probably open it immediately, like before it even starts.
Well, I got to run through these because I nerded out and I wrote them down.
There you go.
So, just like our previous Visions episode, these are my, I really should, I should have said these are moments that disappointed me.
These are disappointing moments or episodes?
These are moments.
Oh,
you did go nice.
The Boba fan is going over what he did not like about
Boba. Least worst to most worst.
Okay.
Boba was training and training and training the crap out of, like, he spent of those, what was it, 90 minutes of flashbacks?
Yeah.
Probably 80 minutes of training. The girl mod shanking Black K was not very, very good. I mean, that is just not realistic.
And how does that hold up now that we know that he could take 45 bolt shots and not get hurt? So that shanking's even worse.
Totally. The blathering mayor's gatekeeper. I have no idea what he's called, but every time he showed up, I cringed.
That was number 1.
Anytime they showed mod bikes, I mean, I think Back to the Future 2 was better with that kind of stuff. And then the worst of the worst was Black K bitch slapping Boba in his underwear.
Holy.
Oh.
Is it good to say that of that moment that you mentioned, all of those were in episode 3. Every single one of those were in episode 3.
That's crazy.
Bad.
Anyway, under the best. These are things that definitely.
Oh, okay, good, nice. I'm glad you did the best. We'll stay positive here. We're staying positive, people.
Okay. The lead Tusken blitzing through the Pike train was pretty damn good.
Oh, you mean the chick who was like went through there beating everybody up? Yeah, that was a good moment. It was.
Yeah. Mando whipping out his Darksaber.
Fish cat. We were all hoping for that.
That had everyone's Darksaber being whipped out.
Yeah.
And Cad Bane entrance.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Number 3. Number 2, Boba flying his Slave 1.
Yeah.
Destroying the speeder bike.
That's number 1 because I thought that would be number 1.
I thought so too. What could number 1 be?
No, number 1
like
was him crawling out of the Sarlacc pit.
I mean, okay.
That's what we were waiting for.
The music, cinematography, everything.
What, 40 years? 40 years. Almost.
The funny part is, out of your top 5, one of them has nothing to do with Boba because it's whipping out the Darksaber, unless it was that special video you watched on the other kind of channel, which we'll not talk about, where that Darksaber got ripped out. Right. And the other ones could have been told in like 5 minutes. Like, you didn't need.
But I still find it telling that every one of those bad things were all in episode 3.
It was. Episode 3 was really
hilarious.
Bad. It's really bad.
I had a couple of honorable mentions. The Mando exchange with the X-Wing pilots I thought was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've already said it, but the Luke Grogu training montage was fun. And one of my honorable mentions about the bad moments was Boba signing "Stop the Train" to the Tuskens. I don't know how many times he said it, and how many times
stop the train.
And then when he first got in his Slave 1 and he couldn't drive it, I couldn't understand why he couldn't drive his own ship. Anyway.
Oh.
There we go.
Well, I think that's it. We got anything else we want to add to this?
I hope Kenobi is good.
God damn it. Why did you just say that?
I hope Kenobi is good.
Do you have any faith right now that it's going to be good?
It's tough because I said when we were I was excited for Bad Batch and we were watching Bad Batch, and as it went on, I was like, this is not good. And then we finished it, I'm like, well, this, even though this sucked, this doesn't deter my excitement for Boba and my anticipation. And then Boba comes out, and now does this deter my anticipation for Kenobi? It makes me cautiously optimistic.
Here's the problem that I have. On the positive side, the acting is going to be better. It's
not going to be bad. I don't think it's going to be bad. I don't think we're going to get a single episode where it's horrible. I
just don't want anybody to make a video of me like I've made of Ka-Chong and his love for Boba after he said I cannot be disappointed. Because I'm 100% expecting to be disappointed. Because here's one problem that I have. Anytime Disney tries to use a Jedi to tell a story to fill in a gap, they do a horrible job. Because it never makes sense. Because if you have a world where there's literally a group of first sister, second brother, and all these people, Inquisitors, who go out to do nothing but hunt Jedi, and there are tales of Ezra and Kanan and all these other Jedis running around saving the world, it doesn't make sense. And if you're telling me that one of the most famous, hey, Downright Nerdy Podcast, what's happening? It's good to see you. And if you're gonna tell me that one of the most famous Jedis, because don't forget, during the wars, him and Anakin were in all the Holo commercials and everything. Kenobi is one of the most famous Jedi, and it's already silly enough that he was on this planet as Ben Kenobi, and nobody figured it out. Nobody put two and two together. This rock star. If he's gonna leave the planet, which it seems like he's going to, and continue on the Kenobi Chronicles, you're gonna have a lot of explaining to me. That rabbit just took a shit in your lap, didn't he?
No,
I know he did.
I wish that'd be hilarious. I was like, pull the hair off. No.
Sir, the evil Empress will never stay away. She'll never stay away. And so that's my concern. My concern is I'm going to be triggered not by the acting. I think the acting will be great. Because there's other actors involved in this that are pretty decent actors. Yeah. There's nobody that's pissing me off at this moment. But I'm concerned that I'm going to be like, if he did this, then there's no way that information didn't get back to Vader. And if Vader has a hint that Kenobi's running around, he will destroy anybody, including probably knocking the Emperor out of the way to get to Kenobi. So there's no way he's going to ignore that he was there.
We know. Well, it's going to be weird. It's going to be weird.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all right. Well, I want to thank everybody for watching. If you've been watching this whole time, we appreciate it. The 7 episodes of our review of the Boba Fett.
We'll go back to our regular scheduled character spotlights.
I think our next one is actually going to be the
Wookiee.
The chocolate dipped.
The repainted Chewbacca.
Yeah, the chocolate dipped Chewbacca. And I think we're going to talk about him. And then we're on to until the next one comes out. Mm-hmm. No, I'm sorry. That particular sponsor does not sponsor the show, so we did not talk about that show, that sponsorship here. But all right, guys, thanks everybody for watching. We do appreciate it. What's up?
We have the news after.
We have what?
The news.
Do we need to do the news? Because we've been on there for like an hour and something.
Well, the news is pretty important, honestly.
There's something important in the news?
Yeah.
Am I going to be irritated? Is this something that's going to irritate me? Are you just setting me up for me to be irritated?
Well, it's interesting, important news. We have to go by quickly.
Okay.
Just let me run to the washroom.
That kind of tells me, yes, I'm going to be irritated.
Wait, we got to wait for him to go to the bathroom?
Okay, where is it? I don't see it. Where is it supposed to be? It?
Cut.
I don't see it. Where Chris, if you're in here, where is it? I don't see it.
Oh, he said he did slides.
It's not in here.
It's not. He must have taken it.
Season 1 archive, maybe? No.
Right. Buffering.
Wake it. Return. Potential characters. Chapter 6. Maybe in the finale? Is that where he put it?
Nope. He said he put it in 36.
Where did he say he put it at?
36.
36? What does that mean?
Episode.
Oh, okay. Okay, no, that's fine. There's something in there. I thought he put it in the other one. Okay, no, we're good. We're good. I don't remember how to do this now, though. Oh, slides. Did he seriously just leave like that?
Yeah, I'm here.
Are you serious? No, do the news. It's important. And then you run out?
No news is good news with Gary Gnu.
I am sorry. You can cut that part out between the.
No, it stays in.
He will. Don't you worry.
It stays in. All right, you guys seen this?
Can't wait to go back. Yep, I can't wait to go back and see what you guys talked about me.
Nothing. I couldn't find it where he stuck the thing. Okay. So, we'll cut that part out. Him sticking the thing, we'll cut that part out.
After getting railed against the wall.
All right, so Star Wars Ahsoka adds Ray Stevenson.
Yep, they add this actor, Ray Stevenson, to the series. Don't know his role. Everyone's apparently insider sources say he's the high-ranking Imperial, which...
I was about to say, he's a white guy who has a square jaw. He's an Imperial.
And, well, there was some interesting idea that he's playing Admiral Pelion, Thrawn's second in command.
Oh.
Because Filoni mentioned, they asked if he was still alive. And Filoni's like, well, he didn't die. He didn't die during the Rebels thing, and he could still be around age-wise. So there's your answer. This is a little Kenobi roundup. Speaking of Kenobi, so just to go over the news, because there's been a lot of news over the past while. So essentially, Inquisitors were confirmed to appear in the series, along with Deborah Chow, who's directing the whole series. She's directing every episode, opposed to Robert Rodriguez, who directed.
Thank God.
Sorry.
If I remember correctly, I didn't mind her. If I remember correctly.
Yeah, she directed some of the better ones.
Yeah.
And then you had
what the hell was he doing in it?
Who
wasn't he in Eternals?
Hey, they're eternal, dude. He made his way here. Kumul, he's playing a substantial role, a new version of a character we've seen before, which I have no idea who that could be.
He tweeted out that he has a lightsaber, and then he deleted the tweet. So I don't know if he was just trolling or what.
Well, I can't think of any Indian characters other than
Sir? Excuse me? He could play whatever character he wants. How dare you limit him to Indian characters? What the hell?
This is Star Wars.
Yeah, we will switch people in a second. How dare you, sir?
He is a hammerhead.
Okay, so he's going to be in that. We've seen before. I don't like that. But okay, We've seen that before.
He's going to play Cad.
And then one of the greatest actors in the history of Star Wars will be with Obi-Wan.
And they specify that it will be scenes between Anakin and Obi-Wan, not just Vader and Obi-Wan. Therefore, we're going to get those flashback moments with Clone Wars, hopefully, which would be joy to see.
Yeah.
And it's set. So this is what I really wanted to know was what the timeline is. It's set 10 years after Revenge of the Sith.
This is like 70 goodness. Is this Chris? Did he put this slide together with this 70s colors? This is awesome.
So apparently this is interesting. So it starts on Tatooine, then goes on a rollicking adventure that includes a watery planet.
Oh, sorry. It was him that said that. I'm sorry. Because I just read that it was a Star Wars character.
You're comparing Asians and then
No. I just said that he they said a Star Wars actor says he has lightsaber, then deletes the tweet. So it was him. They didn't say who it was.
Well, so I'm interested in the watery planet. I feel like they're gonna go to Camino, which would be cool. After they've been destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Rematch of the century will go down between Vader and Kenobi. So I'm really weird about. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be interesting what they decide to do with it. And then
Is there a pre-match?
A pre-match.
So wasn't he in a Marvel movie too?
He was in the Wolverine, the Fox one. He was the Archer in the.
Okay, I thought I've seen it before. Okay, that's not really Marvel then.
Yeah. Anyways, he had a lightsaber, which could also just assume he's part of that flashback scene with Anakin if they're doing it. Good thing have him there.
They're cross-contaminating.
Okay. Sorry, that was.
Well, this one, another clip. Anyway, so this is fun. So Star Wars: The Old Republic, that MMO series, they still have content that gets produced, and they actually have an expansion coming out called Legacy of the Sith, and they put out a cinematic trailer. And as we know, their cinematic trailers are gorgeous by Bloom Studios. This one actually wasn't done by Bloom Studios. This was done by by ILM, and it does look very good. And
that's Thanos with his shrunken head.
Yeah, it's interesting seeing them still putting out like expanded universe content from like the.
It is because that, I don't think that game, even at its height, was where they thought it was going to be. So it's kind of weird they're still going with it.
And it's still not on consoles. It's only on PC.
Oh, good Lord.
Oh, here we go.
And this is Kachun's news of the week. You want to take it off?
Yeah, they just the memes didn't stop when they had the release of Black Chrysanthemum as a Black Series figure.
Yeah.
It's pre-release, right? It gets pre-ordered.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But they basically took Chewbacca and they used the same mold.
Well, apparently, according to Disney, according to Disney, all Wookiees look the same. You got a lot to answer for.
He should be a lot bigger.
Yeah, bulkier. Yeah,
definitely bulkier. He's not skinny.
He's
like
skinny version.
Oh, we can keep going with these. Okay, I'm glad Kristen just put all of them on.
Well, I like the one on the right. How thin he actually is, and it's just so weird.
Look how huge he is here, and you know that Chewie's a little bit a skinnier version, but apparently, it's fine. Those nerds won't know the difference. They'll buy it anyway. Yeah. Oh my god, I want this so bad.
So today, these released, which were fun. Courtesy of Chris. There was a Black Series archive of Revan, as well as a Darth Maul one.
So good.
I bet you the people who bought these ahead of time waited in line and they were worth some money or not happy that we released them again.
Yeah.
That's fun. That's fun for everybody involved. Pretty cool Darth Maul.
Mm-hmm. There was also other ones. There's a Princess Leia and a 501st.
501st, always good choice. Oh.
And episode 3 Kenobi.
Sweet.
I prefer him in his armor, but that looks pretty cool.
He doesn't have a high ground in there?
He does not. Doesn't need to. He's already chopped
him. He's come with a little clear platform.
It's time to say goodbye. Nicely done. All right. Well, there is our news. Like I said, that's so Riven. All right. So that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for hanging out with us. And we'll be back to normal times pretty soon. Going over our deep dives of each individual characters. And I think that's it. So thanks, guys, a lot. Hold on. Let's see what he's saying. It would be cool to see Anakin / Vader with the Sith holocron learning from Revan. Yeah. You're probably going a little too righty there. They don't like to write that much. They like to just kind of beat around the bushes a little bit there.
So the acolyte, maybe.
Yes. So next week would be, because you know how awesome it could be, though. Honestly, if they use Kenobi, because they can't use him too much because it's not going to make sense. If they went back and they showed him maybe being hunted and investigated by Vader's,
Inquisitors.
The Inquisitors, and then telling the Inquisitor story, that could be so freaking cool. Like if they really wanted to do that. Mm-hmm. But all right, guys, we'll catch you later. If you want to watch, I will be on Twitch later. I also have a Discord where we talk about Star Wars stuff there. If you want to join the Discord, you like Star Wars, it's all Mr. Gorell. And we want to say have a great night, guys. Thanks for coming by. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Later.